Check, check. Hello from the studio. Radio check. Audio check. There we go. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. Here we go. Hold on, I gotta put my shit in the right space. Get my drinky there. I can control from here. And we will come in live in 3, 2, 1. Here we are from the infamous Galactic Historian Studios. Welcome, 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 everyone, as we are now going to be having a unique, special teaching for everyone that's out there. 1 year ago today, I was on stage at Living the Mystical Life Daily. There's quite a few people that are in the chat room now who are here, who were at the event. Debbie, thank you so much for organizing the event last year and organizing the event this year, too. I want to thank everyone that's on the Galactic Historian team, Jen in the background, Colette and Reza, who have done an amazing job working and helping the GH team go to the next level. So we are not going to be taking calls today. So this is a moment where me, as a personality and a person, gets to share with you part of my journey, what it took to create Living the Mystical Life Daily, what it took to understand life itself. And what is the story with your hat, Andrew? I'm a hat person. I have a variety of other hats that I use. Hats have their own frequency that has connected to me as a residual image for thousands of years, just as different type of accessories attached to others, those that like to have tattoos or those that don't like to have tattoos. You look at many shamans around the world, they wear hats with colors on them. I'm wearing a white hat for a unique, let's just say, presence of my own energy, my own unique frequency. And it is an emanation. There are many, many shows where it's with no hat, other shows, no headset. It is a point of view for me. It is a emanation for me. So anyone that wants to send questions to me in the chat room, please to the chat room. This is one of those shows in which I'm going to be doing a different format. I'm going to allow my passionate self out. So you have heard me be passionate and in different frequencies and forms. So this first part, I am going to read from a part of my speech from last year. Because at this time last year, I was, like as I said, on stage and going through a unique transformation. So, the healing of the day. Oops. The healing of the day is when you, the individual, I am being of the now, makes the conscious effort and choice to make it a part of your sacred expression, your sacred self-expression. The self-expression comes when we choose to paint our face with color, with contrast, with a better understanding of who you are, when you allow your contrast to come through. Whole new viewpoints, whole new options are there waiting for you if you should just advance into them. Today I ask that people understand what nurturing is, because without nurturing, you can have no roots into the universal source of light and rebirth. The universal source of life and rebirth is always there. It is the infinite, pregnant, great mystery in perfect void space, waiting to give away to you the finite release of soul shards you let to other universes go. We are at a moment where all of us as universal beings, incarnate in flesh now, have allies that we must call upon. If we do not use the support from our brothers and sisters, we can never retreat into the self. Never is a long, long time, but never is a no-time word. Never tells the infinite source that you are not ready. So we must recalibrate our wisdom, recalibrate our knowing and understanding to have an even deeper layer that says, I am infinite dream. I am never limited by the wisdom that I have not learned. Because we are more than we've heard, read, or studied. We are more than our mystical experiences combined in infinite fold. We are universal streams of consciousness, floating through space and time in an entire celestial process. Not just this unique fraud time we're in. Thousands of other floating frequencies of space-time. Thousands of others and millions of others not even yet in existence. It is within the moment you choose to go inside yourself and activate the sacred heart that the last layers of connections from the systems let go. When the heart is active, the system is not interacting with you. And when the system is interacting with you, you are growing roots into your unity self. The more you spend time behind the wheel of your heart, driving the body, the biomechanical skin suit, the more you will advance. The more and more you will have victories. The more and more you will have moments of self-nurturing that complete all the cycles and movements that you need in your day, week, month, year, even life. Everything is a cycle. Everything is a movement. Everything is a synchronicity. Everything is a moment of miracle now. You simply must acknowledge it, for that is your belief system. Connected to the driver's seat of your heart is the very nature of living here now. This experience manifests to be here in that heart, to be emotional, to be impactful and empathic at the same time, and yet not violate the sovereignty of another being, but willing to say at a universal source, I shall not entangle with energy that alters mine for the negative, or puts me into polarity or charge for long term without self-illumination. I shall not fall victim to what my ancestors did by victimizing themselves with their own debts that they created, and at the same time have infinite forgiveness and love for those ancestors that created it in the first place, so that there never exists in our universal expression debt-based love. This is the day where we choose to disentangle, where we clock out of time and walk over the metaphorical line. I have given this explanation thousands of times of disentangling. This is going to be like I am presence training for you who are ready to walk the path. For those of you who would like to repeat after me, you have that option. For those that want to listen, remember to emanate and not emulate the message. I, in the ever-present moment of now, choose to disentangle myself from the grid of the world. I choose to be in myself. To all other beings that are instantly in my energy field now, I am telling you, I still have infinite love and co-creating with you. But at this moment, I choose to be a disentangled observer of myself. That is my universal expression, come manifest in these two legs. So I may know as the full soul shard being implicate to me, incorporated and integrated into this biophotonic light, so I can be present in the mighty I am presence. by making the sovereign choice to be a disentangled observer of the self. That means the fullest versions of myself is here in the now as the apex in this hierarchical order. And this hierarchical order is now be giving an order from the apex. All etheric light bodies connected to infrared frequency that are based in the chakra of the root, you are now put into separation of density. You can only work with beings of unity consciousness from then, now, and will be. All other soul sharded selves that are connected to the infrared source that are not a part of unity consciousness, you are now part of the bifurcation process. Make a choice. Entangle or disentangle the proper way, or be allowed to pass on to source. I call to the orange frequency, light waves, emanations to completely disentangle and bifurcate from all other versions of expressions that are not in full unity consciousness. You can no longer interact under the beings with dirty energy. We have made that sovereign choice, and it is at this day of balance I enforce it at the highest level of my soul's arc. Imminent, eminent presence now, as the apex of this hierarchical order makes manifest the rules, policies, and procedures. I go into the yellow expression, that would aids my energy body, that is within everyone else's energy field, wherever I go. We're now calling to you for the bifurcation point, that separation of densities, that states shall no longer share energy on a free basis. We will only share energy with those in unity conscious format in the dream world on the path to equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order. We have made that sovereign choice that we can no longer entangle with this system at the yellow frequency level. The technology of this system is too harmful to this body to allow. So we call upon the highest soul spark to come to our solar plexus, the place of interaction with the system of domination and control, and give the highest amount of golden sun love connected to all universal suns in existence, so we may bifurcate from this false light hologram. We bring the green frequency, that which is our heart, that connects as love spaced to everything and everyone. We can no longer operate with love with strings attached in any way, shape, or form. We call upon the pericardium that surrounds the heart to do its alchemical process of spirit, to create and generate a bubble of sacred space around the heart, just as it were the fetus in mother's womb. Within the pericardium's activeness, the heart becomes even more active, glowing with the green energy, connecting to the green bodies of expression of love. And we say this to all of our green bodies in perfect unity, love. We understand that you have gone to the system and know that there are great pains and sorrows out there. But now we must retract into the self, back to the center of the heart. All other green frequency energy bodies that have been divested in any time stream, galaxy, or universe, we call you home today. To sit in the seed of the heart as part of the apex of the higher self in this hierarchical now. In no time, in perfect unity and balance. We call to the indigo energy to come to this present voice. So this voices, reacts, and reaches all dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universes to those in sacred neutral witness of the I am dreaming being, breakaway DNA, light body DNA, standing nation of one in all galaxies, timelines, and universes. All other energy bodies that use this voice in any expression of time or fraud time, you are also brought back to this universal source of expression. To the blue energies, that which operates the blue spectrum of technology, where the consciousness explorer within us all lives and exists and coexists, waiting for the unity of our own mind to give us the unlimited point of view, the unlimited resources, so we can go out to the universe and no longer be trapped in the perspectives of ideology. We let go of all of those inner emanations of being trapped because we are now 100% sovereign, unentangled, sacred, neutral observers of the self. We call upon the violet flame energies, that which connects us to the universal source stream. We give you the infinite words. We give you the infinite ways. And all you need to do is have that infinite belief system. Apply whatever belief manifestation system works for you in the now. Choose to have an infinite choice instead of just 2 or 3. We call upon the purple frequencies, the deep violet purples, all that will interact with all other versions of your energy bodies and DNA beings in other time spaces. We bring a universal dreamtime entity of unity within yourself, completely disentangled from all their points of perspective. Just allow it to be without projections. It is your sovereign right from birth to have that inner feeling and knowingness of deep connection, without justice or judgment from anything or any being observing. I would like for you all to take some notes there for a minute and apply them into the chat room. You have an opportunity here now to learn something at a whole new level. We will not be taking call-ins today. We are having a little bit of a system difficulty, and we had to modify and do something at the last minute, though we had much bigger plans, but it's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So everyone, please put into the chat your questions, what you just heard, what you believe here, because we are at another bifurcation moment. Hurricane Harvey has hit, battered the sacred geometry systems it has. Irma awaits, Hong Kong's been hit, India's been hit. All the great places of centers of consciousness that have sacred geometry systems. These time rift vortexes of hurricanes are coming, being attracted to the most negative karmas not yet resolved. There is a speech within a speech and a teaching within a teaching here. For those that choose to use their genius pattern recognition, I ask you to engage it, past, present, and future. For today, I am going to add 10,000 pieces to the puzzle. All the words in between the words, all the codes that are encoded in light. I am here to challenge you in which the scale and size in which you think on every level and layer. That is my purpose, and that will continue to be my purpose. The Akashic Record functions on the Earth level, the solar system level, the galactic level, and the universal level. It is all a form of perspective. To understand the perspective, you must have the experience of the perspective. The forces of the universe are not aligned against you. Say that to yourself. The forces of the universe are not working against you. If any part of you believes the forces of the universe are working against you, that is the shadow, that is the ego, and that is external. Why is that internalized? We are beings of love, created through love, created with love, and we continue to create a space of knowingness so all their beings may seek and find inner peace and solace in dreaming. What defines consciousness? Now I ask the chat room. All 70 plus of you are logged into there. Go to your little keyboards. Write a sentence. What is consciousness? I'm going to answer a question here. Irene Abadi, what do hurricanes symbolize from the unseen world? I am working on a multi-part special with Andre Hodge, Servant of Truth, right now. It should be coming out early this week, and it's going to be a multi-dimensional weather forecast of potentiality. In the unseen world, they are time storms, time rift storms that are transporting things from one frequency of time and another frequency of time. I will go much more in depth because they are attracted to the negative sacred geometry systems, because they are a form of remedy and resolve. There are portals within there that are, let's just say, sucking things out. Consciousness, I am. Connection to the heart, consciousness and being aware. All of you have an expression. What's the commonality? I ask everyone to engage your micro genius for the moment, and what is the commonality we are sharing? Consciousness is the state or quality of awareness of a being aware of an external and internal process. Within oneself, it has been defined as sentience, awareness, subjectivity to the ability to experience or feel wakefulness, having a sense of selfhood, and the executive control of the mind, body, spirit, and awareness as a multidimensional, multifunctional photonic being light manifested through the propagation of light frequencies, leapfrogging through time, consciousness through consciousness, I am to I am, passing on the eternal responsibility of the self to live, love, and learn. What is a sentience? It is the capacity to feel, perceive, or experience subjectivity. Sentient beings are experiencing duality. Artificial intelligences do not experience duality. Artificials have no dream world. Sentients have a little micro dream world. As soon as you are a perception of the duality in this world, you are part of the incarnation, reincarnation space. The soul's higher purpose and light bodies are here to learn, grow with eras of light and knowledge and wisdom that remind us why we chose to live and not be an infinite stream of consciousness. Light does not need a medium in which to propagate. Thus, why we have light bodies to occupy biophotonic skin suits or bodies. What we have here are lineage-based DNA skin suits that encode the infinite light body as a localized event. We are, I am self-driven waveforms of light in a bubble of reality that has physics that adjusts to our harmony and frequency based on our ability to propagate life in equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order with our celestial counterpart. That is our species explained in the most simplistic form. Everything is alive that is on this world. Everything in the solar system is a hologram in a paradox of repetition without illumination for the purpose of resolution of karma. At one point, this universe opened its doors and allowed great immigration processes from other universes to come here to learn what 100% free will actually means to a stream of light that has never experienced free will in the first place. Those were the founders of this universe. There was an imprint, a blueprint from the great universal source that said, go off and explore, make merry, and have children and offspring to discover the great mystery of universal oneness through sovereign free will expression of everything that's in this universal expression. Those founders learned how to tame base energies and lure them into consciousness and sentience to become aware. 75% of all life in this universe came from another universe. That other 25% is the feral life energy being given off by Source itself, waiting for those that are coming here to do what? Train it, help it, see it, while we are all experiencing what 100% sovereign free will means based off of your awareness. Feral life forces were to be tamed and trained over and entertained over long cycles of galactic movement. This was the fundamental mistake that many of those beings made. Consciousness entered biophotonic suits and became workforces. Sentience became managers of workforces and other forms of biophotonic skin suits. Then came lineage-based IM technology suits, and consciousness and sentience became intermixed with its own subculture. They propagated us, humanity as we know it, as spirits using different forms of IM technology. Human is a spirit form, not just the physical flesh. All right, I would like people to put questions into the chat room. Let me scroll up a little bit here. Consciousness is everything in the ever-present moment. All right. Oh, we got a lot of people online here. Consciousness is self-acknowledgement of the co-creation of love, beauty, balance, truth with great mystery. Outstanding, Ryan. You have gotten it. So, all right, we got a lot of not so questiony questions here. All right, here's one from Trevor. How does one balance mind and heart? I tend to have a first reaction of analysis with the mind, and my heart seems to follow. Is there any benefit or purpose of processing through mind energy? How does one process emotions without getting totally wrapped up in them? I find myself try to analyze emotions. What am I missing? Well, as long as you're analyzing, you've already missed it. So take analysis away and allow the mind and the heart to be one. Before you had a brain and arms and legs and a spinal column that made you a vertebrate, you were just a heart that had a little tiny slice of brain on it. And then your skeletal system grew and you got a brain, but that little tiny slice of heart is known as your thymus, your high heart. Dun dun dun. That's where you learn to think from. Take analysis as a concept out, because analysis is based for theory, and you are working through knowingness. Your question was, how does one balance mind and heart? Through knowingness. Without resistance in your internal selves from saying, I need to rest today within my knowingness so I might balance my mind and heart. He said, I tend to have first reaction of analysis. Turn off the adrenal gland that is making analysis before heart-based awareness, heart-based knowingness. This is just a change in perception, and the chemical body is trying to override your set of choices. Is there any benefit and purpose of processing through the mind? Yes, that is where we get pattern recognition. The mind and the heart can co-create and separate creations that come together in dream frequencies. Learn how to pass on the I am awareness legacy to the heart, and the heart pass on the I am awareness legacy to the I am in the brain. There is no separation, but it allows us to process things at a different level that does not use analysis, but knowingness of the patterns that are present to do what is best for you. Here's a next one. How does one know discernment? I'll be visceral and blunt. How do you know when you're done with your morning crap? Same thing. Gut feeling. You grow your gut feeling day by day, breath by breath, as a sovereign being, learning what discernment is. Discernment training is not something you share with your companion. It's something you do with your own hindsight and foresight and self reflection, self introspection, and retrospection. For if you cannot retrospect, introspect, and reflect upon yourself, why the hell are you even here? Chemically is what stops people most of the times now. It stops them because their brain is hazy and clouded with all the distractions of the global infrastructure that's out there that is designed to distract us and take us away from our own I am self choices of awareness. When consciousness and sentience combine, creating duality, we gain intuition, hindsight, and foresight as a birthright of incarnating lineage based beings of great universal intelligence and potential. We remain only as potential until we understand the power of choice. We are here to activate our infinite potential and spiritual intelligence by living in the moments of ever present now as the mighty I Am Self. We cannot live in the past or the future. We can only consciously, actively live within the spiritual now. To use the power of now is activating your spiritual intelligence dormant within your consciousness until a mystical experience asks us to use our I am now beingness so we can overcome or understand some frequency of decay or introspection or free will of life path, potentials of obstruction or non obstruction by some process that requires action or inaction in these moments of now. Process that. As I said, I'm adding 20,000 pieces to the puzzle here. And all you little geniuses out there that are going, putting them all in place, here's the next download. Now I ask you to put a couple thoughts into the chat room. Make a manifestation of what you've just heard. Here's another one from Trevor. Expectation and boundaries. How does one set boundaries without expectation? How does one not become doormat through relinquishing expectation? Are boundaries and expectations connected? Expecting one to treat you in a certain way? Well, expectation has an aspect of false precognition from the ego. So the last two episodes ago, I began speaking about that. So to sum it up, you are empathically taking on energies from others that is now feeding through your sympathetic and parasympathetic a feedback process that is making you think you can't live without expectation. You can. Expectation is an adrenal gland process of the brain trying to fill in the blanks before you get there, using false precognition from their placebo. You can live without expectation. And creating borders, rules, boundaries, and procedures are not expectations, they are manifestations of the I am will, who's clearly defining it as an I am sovereign being, not a being stuck in expectation, still in mediocrity, not trying to understand they are chemically driven or spiritually driven. Spiritually driven means you've taken over the chemical side of your body and said, I'm choosing to eat the right way, breathe the right way, interact with my body through the law of self manifestation. There's a lot of people in there. The universe is not working against you. The amount of pushback that I had from saying that. Think about it. Pushback from a simple line that the universe isn't working against you because our global narrative wants you to make you think it is. I work in the colloquial now. Which genius in the chat room right now can define what the colloquial now is who has heard me speak that? Ring-a-ding-ding, calling the geniuses. Colloquial now. The colloquial now is an attempt at challenge your I amness, to be active here in the now, so we can activate our infinite point of view and potentials to overcome race amnesia. It is within the colloquial now that the mighty I ams can make mystical experiences of pattern recognition. What is race amnesia? 26,000 years ago is when race amnesia began to affect 65% of the living population in DNA lineages. By the Dark Ages, 98% of the population of the surface had completely lost their oral and intuitive teachings present in all sentience within consciousness that had actively processed life before on this world as a life process of manifesting beings. Race amnesia is the loss of our history that helps us create with infinite potential. We all have this innately within ourselves. Each generation was conquered by a group of victors who rewrote our history. Each subsequent generation reinterpreted the false history and created the race amnesia as a spiritual sickness that could jump from one lifetime to another. This is our racer's major malfunction and basis for hijacking of our potential consciousness and sentience ability to use hindsight and foresight as our mystical process of legacy to ourself, for we are self mystically spawned here on Earth realm. Process that. Who here this week actually practiced the advanced heart meditation or the sanctuary of all souls? Anyone? Anyone out there? I, this Andrew of Now, am here to help present the scale and size of our unique, ever-evolving perspective and path. What is scale of thought? Scale of thought is our perception that includes inner wisdom without flaws or interpretations from the I am in the flow with the universal mind. We are not limited by our perception, but are continually taught how to see the bigger picture, whether it's with microsight or macrosight or any sight combined at all. When all sights are combined, we get the scale in which we must think, perceive, and act within our awareness. Acting within our awareness. That is the key. Acting within our awareness. Who is acting in their awareness? How do you act in your awareness? Acting in the greatest awareness is known to the path of the stars to the great beyond. All right, let me let the chat room here. All right, what do we got here? Alana, I practiced the heart meditation for 4 days, and now you can hear animals talk. Outstanding. More and more. It is within the daily practices, okay, that you will discover the micro parts of the mystical that feed and nurture the inner soul to drive and do it more. Okay. From Irene, I'm having multiple story communicating type dreams on the nights I listen to the advanced heart meditation. Another one. You're uncovering your multiple layers of awareness as an I am being of the now by making yourself, your consciousness, the apex of your own self. And she said, it's very hard to listen to myself, but in the beginning, but now I feel much more confident and empowered listening and enjoying the meditations. Now you're passing on the essence and of the process, and you're emanating the message and passing on to your future self. I like doing this. It gives me pleasure. It gives me strength and awareness. Future self, here is the mantle of responsibility of this practice as a sacred discipline with your emotional intelligence involved in it. So Sue has said, I've been working with clearing the pericardium with myself and clients and seems to be have positive results, breaking down defenses caused by old wounds and moving beyond. That's what the pericardium is meant to do, to protect the heart from time. All right, if you have any questions, you're going to put them into the chat room. I got to move forward on my thingy here. 1 second. Here we go. We had to do things at the last second with the studio. Okay. All right. I am going to do the heart meditation. Nope. I just read that one. The future of our species is the undiscovered country of our dream space, the sacred ancient dream space of our inner creations and outer voyages of our ancestors of the past, who searched and discovered and painstakingly mapped so future generations may take up the mantle of responsibility and once again search the multiverse as unentangled observers. We walk the path of beings of non-duality. We learn that perspective in all the deception filters we have created in the past to maintain the static separation of duality. From womb to tomb, we are no longer bound to one another alone. We consciously disentangle from the old dogmas of perception and the perspective of the entangled observer. I bring forth the idea, concept, and thought construct that the linguistic specific to science will have to define, have the definitive meaning of thousands of different spiritual perspectives and faiths. The spirit and flow of natural way will teach science new forms of physics that change, adjust, or scale one's understanding of the universe. Consciousness exploration is the next era when science and spirit rediscover the commonalities that reunite the passion for self-discovery. We take step by step, day by day, each moment to discover our consciousness because it comes from our choices. The trick of getting the I am now to engage the dreaming vehicle as part of equal co-creation with you, the apex of the hierarchical order. What I am presenting is a synthesis of all I have seen during readings of the dream world of the Akashic records, the many perspectives, teaching one how to dream, lucid dream, or access dreamtime societies who have been lost to generations of the past, so that the greatest skills of the indigenous teachers can once again find it in your dream world of the first dream generation. Who is of the first generation? Are you ready to record your experience? When you learn to record your own experience, you will understand some of the most basic rules of trying to read the Akashic record. Reading the Akashic record and how to apply the first steps to what you're reading really means as you take your first few baby steps and get a mini synopsis of who you are in knowingness. That is what summing it up in writing means. So here's one from Eleanor. Question here. Andrew, how do you feel about taking the statement of the universe is not working against me and ramp it up into photonic light and say the universe is working for me? It means the same thing as the other statement. For me, it takes on the brilliance of illumination of the words and its meaning as the core and universal frequencies of love and harmony and symphony in equal eternal, external, internal co-creation. Oh, you got the external, internal worlds. Look at you. Yes, absolutely. It is called flipping the frequencies. When one learns to flip the frequencies, you can change anything around you for the positive of your own process. But you have to choose that. You have to go into the period of the self and ask all other versions of yourself who had danced in the pattern, the shadows of the temple of the chosen I am, and said, are you an I am heart now? Or are you just an illusion from another world? So many of us have illusions of ourselves in other worlds because our dream spaces were never safe while we were growing up. Learning to cut cords with dreamtime beings. I've spoken about it many times. You are the I am dream stream. No one else is. That is your sovereign 100% free-willed right. And it's through the awareness of the 7 previous and the 7 future generations of dreams that we can understand what our ancestors, descendants, and ascendants are doing as also I am aware protected beings. When you make yourself the I am aware protected being, means you have the awareness and the responsibility to flip a frequency on anything that's projecting into you. And it should be no more than the effort of blinking an eye, because your knowingness of yourself is so strong. Flip, snap of the finger, whatever the projection is, the frequency is flipped and sent back to the user with no exchange of karma or energy. That is the essence of a rule, border, policy, and procedure that is using the conscious I am to say the 7 previous generations, the 7 future generations, I've honored them, be aware of them, and I made myself an I am aware, protected being, sharing ancestral dream worlds so that our dreaming bodies may have resolution. You are still the I am heart muscle. Learn to think a little more multidimensional. Challenge yourself at the scale and size of what you must think. Learn to make comparisons and contrasts between what you think you did and what you actually did. That's self-discernment. Find comparison and contrast between what are the memories of your family and what are your memories. For each person is a subjective observer to what they see, who has many different experiences all throughout this expression. A celestial space is here now. All right, let me take a question here. So here's one from Nicole. Truth sets us free. Peace found within makes the heart sing. Beautiful statement. The truth is also your protection. It is your fortress of knowledge and wisdom, too. When you take truth as your protection to the next level, you can have great voyages into the self because you've learned to be brutally authentically yourself without the limitations of the ego or the shadow. It means you have danced in the patterns in the temple of the chosen I am and said, I am now. I am not at I am then or I am future. I am now in equal co-creation with the self so you can choose to make a higher frequency of choice. So that you can find an area of space-time to propagate your light, to have spiritual frequencies with other beings, to have children, to be a fetus in the womb, sending healing treatments forwards and backwards in times to ourself. That is the first part of charting your own course, your own schedule, your spiritual schedule that says, I am awake and aware now, and I'm choosing right at this moment to make a bigger choice. All right. I am going to try my first self-done transition. Dun dun dun. I should still be live, and you should be still hearing me. Living the Mystical Life Daily live event, October 5th through 8th at the Marriott SeaTac Hotel. You can go to andrewbartzis.com/shop if you'd like to position in that. And look at that. I did my first own transition. Yay. You guys have no idea what it takes to run this studio. I'll give you a little example. All right. So those are the other cameras, the other studio cameras over there. That's the other teleprompter. And so this is a Mac. That's a double screen Mac. That is a TriCaster Mini, though the TriCaster Mini had to go back to the shop because it was having a little bit of shutdown issues. And yes, this is my bowl that I clear energy. As people out there having their ears blown out that are in headsets. Oh, my camera is moving on its own. Ghost camera. I am going to be doing a special series of broadcasts about the weather over. The camera's still moving on its own. Look at that. Stop, camera. Stop moving. So, I'm going to be doing a series of special broadcasts for those of you in the United States who are going to be having your special little weekend that's going on. There are some powerful things that are going on in the energy-wise. Hurricanes are everywhere. And now we got the next big blast of questions. So if Debbie is listening, go ahead and pick the winner. I am having a little bit more of technical issues. So I want everyone to stay in tune. I'm going to be presenting a small series on the weather coming this coming Monday, actually, though I may put something out late Sunday. It all depends on what goes on in the energy frequencies. So I'd like to give this as a little offering to people that are out there to go to a Weather Channel site and look at Hurricane Irma. Look at the Doppler weather. Look at the models that are done. Do a little research on hurricanes that are out there. Don't look at the fear porn stuff. Just look at the models of the hurricanes going. Okay? So allow everyone to think this, perceive this, and make it a mission from Earth Mother, asking you to bring your awareness to this storm that is both the collective and the uncollective, graving a tug-of-war on the dreamweave of this world. I ask you that you put your energy in it. For what purpose? Remedy and resolve. For that what this storm is. Not justice or judgment. To void the mistakes of the past so the ancient future can exist now as part of our sovereign individual choices. So I want to thank everyone that is tuned in. Yes, we are going to be ending a little bit early today. I shall be back on Tuesday, 7 to 9 Pacific time, Thursday, 11 to 1 Pacific, next Saturday, 5 to 7. And I may have a special broadcast coming out late Sunday or Monday. And if you guys are able to join me live, I don't know if I'll do it live. I don't know. I'm going to play it by ear because there are some unique energies in the frequencies. I asked those to go back to the beginning of the speech and the prayer, where that was a great clearing for everyone to see. That's where the 9,854 pieces that came in the first puzzle and the last few pieces are now for you to put together. Alrighty, everyone, thanks a lot, and I'll still see you during the next broadcast. Thanks a lot.